The following is a paid program. Advice and opinions expressed on the program are solely that of our guests. Legacy Dinner Theater, not necessarily WBEV or Good Karma Brands. Welcome into Taking Care of Business. On today's show, we welcome in a lively group. We have got Kurt, we've got Annalise, and we've got Bello. You can't miss Bello. He's got the great hair. Thank you guys so much for coming in today. Really appreciate you taking the time. You guys are here to discuss what's going on at Legacy Dinner Theater, which is awesome. It's a venue in the Dells, of course. But give people a little more background on what it's all about for anybody who doesn't know, hasn't been.
Sure. So the building's actually been there for about 20 years. Our new owner, David Fee, bought the theater about 2 years ago. David had 5 theaters in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, that he sold about 6 years ago to Dolly Parton's group down there. Oh. So he'd been sitting on the sidelines for a few years, and when the theater became available, he purchased it. In the last 2 years, he's added about $13 million into the theater.
And so he was like, Pigeon Forge, forget that. Wisconsin Dells is the place to be.
Exactly. So we're doing 423 shows this year at the theater. And we do everything from Bellows Circus Extreme. We have our Wild West show, Sneaky Pete, starting up this summer. We do a Halloween show that's going to be new. That'll start up the end of September. And then the Midwest's largest Christmas show, Christmas in the Dells, will kick off. And we do 70 different tribute concerts throughout the year as well.
Now, I touched on this briefly before we started the show when you said 400 and some odd shows in here, and I thought there's only 365 days.
Yes.
Maybe my math is off, but are you inventing new days? How do you guys make this happen?
So we, during Christmas, we actually do 3 shows a day on Sundays, and our busiest day on Saturdays, and our busiest Saturday we serve 1,520 people, and we fed everybody as well.
Yeah. So to answer it, every Friday is a tribute concert. So if it's the resident show's day off, people can plan on every Friday throughout the year. There's a tribute, and it ranges from Metallica to Elvis, Van Halen to Elvis to the Rat Pack and stuff like that. It's really cool stuff. So check that we have a cool schedule for it. But then even our show, we do 2 shows on Wednesday, 2 shows Saturday, 2 shows Sunday. So there's a matinee, a lunch, and then a dinner because people, being able to choose if it's an all-you-can-eat lunch that goes into dinner or starting at dinner on all-you-can-eat and having a show. It's a blast.
That is incredibly awesome. I know, Annalise, you're saying like you think there's a Men in Black or the Man in Black Johnny Cash show coming up.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that tribute band for
it's
sure.
hard to talk, partially because I'm looking at this list, and you gave me this phenomenal list of shows, and it seems like it's a never-ending list. And I thought, this is so many shows. But I flip it over, and it keeps going.
More, yes.
And
that's not even first quarter. We had a similar one for first quarter as well.
Oh, this is insane. I mean, everything from, like you said, you just had Metallica there, the Highwaymen coming up, Aerosmith, Journey and more, Steely Dan, Toby Keith, Journey, Boston and Styx, ABBA. My wife would love that one. Alabama. I mean, I'm not even through the first half yet, and there's so many great groups on here, and it just keeps getting better and better. Bon Jovi, AC/DC, the Beatles, a Taylor Swift weekend.
Yes. We actually had that artist in last year in September. We sold out about a month in advance, so now we're booking 2 shows, a Friday and a Saturday with them.
Yeah. And a Taylor Swift tribute still needs as much security as Taylor Swift.
I imagine.
It's true. We joke we have a guy named Eric who's our bouncer for our rock concerts. He's about 6'10". We don't have issues at all. So, and so we didn't have him for the Taylor Swift tribute last year, thinking, okay, it's a bunch of 8-year-old girls, no problem. They all kept swarming the stage because they wanted to trade friendship bracelets with Taylor. So we had to okay, you got to go back to your seat, and then there'd be another 150 on the other side of the stage. No, I got to go back to your seat. So, but it was an excellent show. The artist that performed for us, she signed autographs for over an hour in our lobby after the show and took pictures with everybody. So it was great.
Now I'm trying to imagine the venue here because you have a venue that can host shows like this, but then you have a venue that can also host what you do with your show, which is not a tribute to Taylor Swift or Dolly Parton, but is like an acrobatic circus.
Ours is a tribute to. It's mostly it's a quarter Cirque du Soleil, a quarter Ringling Brothers, and a quarter America's Got Talent, and then a quarter of us, if you mix them all together.
Now, speaking of America's Got Talent, you were on that show.
Yeah.
And a great segment doing a trick. I don't know what you call it, but you got the 2 like the pendulum
Yeah.
kind of swinging thing going on
Yep.
with the rings. Amazing act. First question is, one, how do you do it with the hair?
Yeah, I don't know. I've worn my hair like this since I was 11 years old, every day of my life. So it's part of me. So I just do. So if people remember or think about it, I'm the guy with the foot tall hair. If you're not watching us, foot tall red hair. But I got shot out of a cannon, flew over a helicopter, human cannon, flew over a helicopter, or I climbed the big sway pole on one of them that was just like a flexible, power line or a flexible tree, climb up it, sway back and forth. And then together with my daughter Annalise, we did the Wheel of Wonder, the big, it looks like a giant hamster wheel or a treadmill for adventurers.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, Annalise, I saw the tagline, I love this, the world's premier female daredevil.
Yeah.
So you're doing stuff as well, doing a lot of similar tricks, but this is a thing that family-wise goes back even beyond you.
Yeah, so I'm actually the 8th generation of my family
Really?
to be in live entertainment. And, that used to be a lot more common. If your last name was Smith, is because your family were Smiths or carpenters or something. And so, like, the circus arts is kind of one of the last careers to do that, the last professions. And so it's really cool to be able to, like, carry on that tradition. And I have a lot of fun doing it. And I think part of it is because I grew up watching how much fun my dad had doing it.
Right.
And now that we get to do it together is so special and a lot of fun. And it's really cool. He says it a lot of times in our show, how like our family comes together to bring other families together, because there's something for everyone in the circus. I think that's what makes the circus so cool and so timeless is like, you can't be everyone's favorite, but that's why the circus brings so much together so that there is you can find something that's your favorite
Right.
for pretty much anyone.
Yeah, a little something for everyone. Any plan on doing anything with your hair? Maybe not this, but
No, I think everyone's
Has their own
expected. Like, why doesn't your hair stand straight up? I don't know. It
You
just
gotta have your own
doesn't.
thing,
Yeah.
Circus is the original ADD, or it's the original immersive. It's the original, where there's something for everyone. If you like something a whole lot, you better enjoy it because 5 minutes later, every act is about 5 to 8 minutes. It changes. And if you don't like something, it's not perfectly for you. Wait 5 minutes, it changes. It's sort of like the weather here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, I don't know.
that is very true. That is very true. So obviously, a lot of venues, a lot of scheduling, or a lot of stuff happening at your venue, a lot of scheduling that's going to happen. Does this all fall on you to coordinate? Is that just what you?
Yes,
I do
only the
book all-
bad. The bad.
all the
I take
bands.
all
Yeah,
the
there you go.
credit. Everything gets all the blame.
So I book all the bands. I worked in radio for about 25 years before I came to the theater. They were actually one of my clients at one time, and have always just enjoyed that aspect of it. So, but we do a little bit of everything, handling food and beverage. So we order food for, like our initial order for even before you guys showed up, we placed the first order to get us started for 3,000 meals. So, we've burned through that multiple times now.
Yeah.
So we do that. David Fee, our owner, and Megan, who's the next generation of ownership there, they work on a lot of the producing, directing aspect of it. So David spent about 30 years down in Pigeon Forge, but prior to that, he and his business partner were bad magicians.
Okay.
And then he ended up getting on a cruise ship. And then from there, David became cruise director. And from there, he ended up booking entertainment for 54 cruise ships.
Wow.
So he knows a lot of people.
lot,
Literally,
yeah.
we had, back in November, we had a phenomenal Barry Manilow tribute. And David came out and was talking to our artist and said, "Oh, yeah, I know Barry."
Yeah.
Because he does. He knows everybody. A lot of connections, for sure.
One thing about the venue you touched on is so beautiful. If you go to a theater, Broadway, or you're whatever, imagine if I'm sitting. I'm not the tallest guy, but I got a
Right.
foot tall hair. If I'm sitting in front of you, it's not obstructed view, but you wonder. That can't happen in this setting because you have the floor seating setting. So there's 4 to 6 people seats per table. Everyone is facing almost like, sort of like we're sitting. Everyone is sitting. So it's almost like a Happy Days when everyone sat down. Everyone was facing towards the camera. You just didn't realize it.
Right.
Then there's tiered seating. So there is absolutely not an obstructed view in the house.
There's not a bad seat in the house.
There's not a bad seat in the house. Everyone is at least you're no more than 50 feet away from the action. In this show, we have the big Globe of Death, which is the Sphere of Fear, a big steel cage ball where the motorcycles ride around. Also, they were finalists on America's Got Talent. And Puppy Pals, so it goes from the hard to the soft and the beautiful, also on America's Got Talent. And then we've got these great production numbers that are just very fun, dancers, singers, a variety of those. Two great artists that are a duo. Annalise does some really cool stuff. Together we keep some of it a surprise, but it's if people remember her on America's Got Talent, her solo, she got in a box with 6 sticks of dynamite and blew the box up. She's fine. Okay.
You seem okay.
Those are the kinds of things. So she does. We don't do the exploding coffin in the there, but she does do something. The claws of death, Jaws, and then so together we do that Wheel of Wonder inside this theater. We walk high wire over the entire audience and do some really cool stunts. And so there are 5 different acts from America's Got Talent, singing, dancing, the Puppy Pals, a lot of really cool stuff. So there's something for everyone, and it's all you can eat.
I mean, you had me at the entertainment, but the all you can eat only makes it better. I do want to let people know there's some websites they can go to. 2 of them that I wrote down here are very important ones. One, bellonock.com.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's your site. And then you have legacydinnertheater.com as well. But then I was seeing on there, you have a lot of these tribute bands have their own sites as well.
For sure.
So if you're not sure if you're going to like the group, if you want to check them out, find out more about them, you can follow them through to their sites also. I guess my next question for you guys is, when it comes to the logistics of choosing, obviously there's a wide variety here. Do you find that rock bands are better in the summer? Do you find country really hits?
You throw the darts.
I was going to say
a little bit of that. So it is a little bit of a challenge. We are doing 70 different shows through the course of the year. So logistics of when people are available, we have to work around that schedule. Doing 423 shows, we have our own challenges about what availability we have for shows. And we actually bring in artists from all over the country.
Right.
So we have a phenomenal Guns N' Roses tribute, for example. The lead singer is actually the lead singer. They're from LA, but he's also the lead singer for Steven Adler. And Steven Adler is the original drummer from Guns N' Roses. So he sings for that band as well. And actually, his voice is better than Axl Rose's because Axl's voice is not what it used to be,
Right.
30 years ago.
Right.
So it's phenomenal.
I see they're coming up on September 5th.
Yeah.
For anybody wondering.
We had a great show in first quarter. It was called Blue Eyed Soul, and it was R&B, soul music, Motown type of stuff. The gentleman, Jay Stolman, who is the singer, came up from Florida, and his band used to open for James Brown, and his sax player toured with Joe Cocker. So a lot of these bands that we are bringing in, are national headlining type of bands. We've got a great AC/DC band coming back in February. They've played the theater 6 times now, called Thunderstruck, and always sells out. So we have to cater to a large audience, just because really there's 5,000 people that live in the Dells. So it's not a huge metropolitan area like a Chicago or things like that.
People will drive to come see.
For sure, yeah.
It's worth the trip.
It's funny because we've had people actually over the weekend that drove up from Rockford. We had people from Janesville. We have people from Racine that come up to catch some of our shows. Right. And sometimes, they're first-time people. We do quite a bit of advertising, but we had a great Doors tribute a couple of months ago, and the first-timers, they drove up from Racine. So I said, well, why didn't you bring any Kringles with you? So,
right,
like that.
From Racine.
So here, that is very interesting, because this show, the Bellow Circus Extreme, is created for this theater, and we're not going to go on tour. Now, I may be in other, you may see me perform or Annalise perform in different places. When this show is done, we're here until April 27th. Mm-hmm. There is no chance of extending, and I always say to people, don't wait till the last weekend. We're probably going to sell out, so start coming now if it sounds interesting. We've had people, it's amazing, every artist goes out and signs autograph, takes pictures, or give Daredevil advice to people who come see the show. And everyone, we drove from Indianapolis. We drove from Chicago. Mm-hmm. We came from Iowa. And you're like, wow. We're very fortunate that people will come close or far and make that everlasting memory together. It's really, really cool.
You almost need to get one of those maps where you can put the thumb taps
Yeah.
in to map where
Yes,
everybody comes
yes.
from. Now, obviously, being in the Dells, I mean, the Dells is known for being, America's largest water park, the town of water parks. Matter of fact, I lived in Vegas for 5 years, and they would ask me about the Dells.
Yeah.
It's Vegas, and they're like, "Tell us about the Wisconsin Dells." Sure. I'm like, "Sure, mini golf and water parks. That's what they got going on there." How do you guys find ways to stand out?
Sure.
Obviously, the music is great. The big hair is great.
yeah.
But what else? What else you guys got that you do?
So really, the theater is sort of built on being an attraction. When we were driving over here today, we were talking a little bit about our Christmas show, and you guys were in Germany, Frankfurt,
Yes.
Germany at the time, but we were promoting the show that it was coming up. But about 75% of the people that came to our Christmas show last year, November and December, were first-time customers. So truly, for a big show like that, we had people from Chicago meeting family that are from Minneapolis at our show. We feed them all you can eat, and then after the show, nobody has to do dishes, and then literally the kids are doing a gift exchange in our lobby that. So it's really kind of a bonding thing. We had someone after one of our shows last year. She said, I was at the Rockettes in New York City last week, and your show is better. So we are doing
high praise.
Huge productions there. Honestly, it's really big stuff. During specifically the Christmas show, we have a live camel that comes out for the nativity scene. We have an angel that flies over the audience. This is big production stuff that you would think you'd have to go to Chicago or New York to see, and that is all of our shows. So with your show here, I was just going to tell a quick little story. You guys were here a couple of years ago, and we went down to Chicago to be on WGN TV. And I don't know if you remember this, but I share this all the time. So we went to Maggiano's and had dinner at like 9 o'clock at night on a Monday before the performance on Tuesday morning. And there was a little kid that was probably about 10 years old, and he was going nuts. He's like, "Bello, bello, 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 bello." So then the family goes to leave about 5 minutes later, and the dad comes over and he says, "Do you mind if I take a picture of my son with you?" And Bello said, "Of course, that's fine." So you put your arm around that boy and you said, "Where are you guys from?" And the family was Asian, and they were from Japan. They saw you guys perform in Japan.
That is cool.
So yeah, just a neat little story. We sort of take it for granted. I don't mean take it for granted, but Bello obviously spent a lot of time in the Dells over the summer. We went to school together back in the day, and it's like, it's Bello. But it's like, those folks saw you in Japan performing. So it's really awesome.
To answer your question, word of mouth, because you can spend the money on billboards, on advertising, Facebook, you can do whatever, but the world is out there and everyone's advertising. A good quality product and word of mouth, you can't ask people, you can't pay people to lie.
Right.
They have a good time, they tell their friends. If they had a bad experience, they tell 12 people. If they had a good experience, they tell 3 people. So the word is out there of this is a great show. People at the end of the show, I'm going to tell you, there's no greater feeling. I just got goosebumps when parents or grandparents come out. They come out of that theater feeling like superheroes, because a 12-year-old kid, a 3-year-old kid can have a good time, the parents and the grandparents. And I call that 4 generations.
Right.
They can all laugh at the same joke appropriately. They can all have their favorite little moment, and you know that they're going to talk about it a week from now, on the drive home, a year from now, 10 years from now.
Right.
And there's nothing that will take the place. There's not many forms of entertainment that can happen. And all 4 of the anchor shows have that quality. So that's the secret recipe, that you care about the product, not just the numbers. And then this is something, just in case for viewers out there, you said something. We went to school together, but we're world travelers. So how does this add up? In 1977, my dad got invited to perform at the Tommy Bartlett Show for 1 season.
Okay.
And it was such an impact that they stayed, someone of the family, someone of the troupe stayed there for 45 years.
Wow.
So I met Kurt in third grade, and because before and after the summer in the school year, I met him, and I met my wife in third grade.
In the Wisconsin Dells.
In Wisconsin Dells, in the Lake Delton Elementary School. And in a couple of days from now, I'll have my 37th wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
I got married directly across the street from this theater. But as we got married, we were like, we wanted to pursue success. What is that? And who would hire us? And it just happens to be that whoever hires us is around the world. Japan, Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, New York City. And it's always somewhere else.
Right.
Now, yes, we're world travelers. Yes, you have huge numbers, huge successes in other places, but there's no place like home.
Right.
Coming home to Wisconsin Dells, and it's not just going, I just go there for the great time or see my friends and family. The venue is world class. The show is world class. Being able to perform for that your hometown crowd or people that travel from big cities to come here. Wisconsin Dells has something for everyone, even though it's known as the water park capital of the world.
There's so much
There's
more.
so much more.
Now, your guys' show you said is going on through April.
Yes, sir.
And then where are you guys going?
Phew.
Back traveling the world again.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So
is this
yeah.
going to be something that's going to loop you back at some point?
Yeah, we're going to make a commitment of doing this anchor show, the spring break run of Bellows Circus Extreme will hopefully be back year after year in this time slot. So I won't ever play summer. We'll try to do that. But then, like, no kidding, I'm off to New York, Atlanta, and Texas, and then Saudi Arabia, and then France, Romania. A lot of travel.
That is crazy.
Big production, big shows, but it's hard for people to, you can't say, hey, come see me in Romania.
But like,
I'm
sorry.
do you want to ask you guys about your international travel? But before I do, you said 4 anchor shows. What are the other shows that are there?
Yeah, so right after us, Bellows Circus Extreme runs until the end of April, and then soon after that, they're getting into an amazing Wild West show. It's called Sneaky Pete's Wild West Dinner Show, and that's also all you can eat. And
Big
it's
fan.
a really cool stunt show, and I think I would describe that similarly, where like 4 generations can all come and have a good time, laugh at the same silly jokes and create memories together and eat some delicious fried chicken. So that's one of their staple shows. And then after that, after the summer run of that, they have an awesome show. This one's going to be a new one, but they're going to do a Halloween themed show.
Okay.
In, what is that, in
So we'll start
October, November?
End of September.
September.
The Monster Mash Halloween Spooktacular, and that's going to run through Halloween. And David is a magician, our owner, David Fee, by trade, so he has actually bought some really cool special effects that no one in America has seen yet. So that'll be part of this show. So it'll be singing, dancing. Cool. It'll be family friendly,
funny, not scary,
not scary,
not
right.
horror.
Yeah, and then we beginning of November we roll into the Christmas show, Christmas in the Dells, as well.
That is really awesome. So that means no matter what time of year, there's probably something going on there you can go check out.
Right.
You don't have to just wait for the tribute bands to come in, tribute groups. That's really awesome. And I love the fact you guys have touched on, this is all very family friendly.
Very.
Which is amazing, because sometimes when you go to these venues, they try and cater to just little kids. And like you said, then parents are sitting there going, are we done?
That's the magic. If we, sometimes you go, hey, honey, let's go to this. Let's get a babysitter and leave the kids at home. And then you're like, okay, well, or it's like, all right, we're doing this for the kids. It's Barney Live,
Right.
All 4 shows is fun for the whole family. You don't have to have kids, because we hear that a lot. We're like, oh, we used to go to the circus. Well, we don't have kids anymore. You could come and absolutely enjoy this without kids. You can bring the kids. Every joke is appropriate, every memory, everything. But not just the circus, Bellows Circus Extreme, the Wild West Sneaky Pete's Wild West Dinner Show, and then the Spooktacular, and then the Christmas show. Those anchor shows. And you don't have to choose just one. You can come to all 4 of them and get a complete different experience, a different genre, and also a complete different meal in each one of them.
Oh.
So you're not going to, I had that chicken, it was great. We have a different meal Sneaky Pete's has a different meal, Spooktacular will have a different meal, and then Christmas has a different meal.
So it's kind of like 4 different venues in one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is.
And then for some of our concerts as well, sometimes we do plated meals as well. So and those obviously would rotate as well. But like the ABBA show that you mentioned, we're doing a matinee and a night show, but it's a meal show.
blast.
When AC/DC comes, we don't focus on the food so much.
Yeah, they're focused
Right.
on the beer, the different beers.
Although
How-
it is funny that AC/DC is hard rock, but it's also generational as
Oh, yeah.
well.
Yeah. Right.
That our group actually sells glow light up horns, and there's probably 10% of the audience are kids. Believe it or not, because it's become a generational thing.
Right.
Guitar Hero, things like that have incorporated a younger audience into that, and they put on a spectacular show.
Well, I think the Marvel movies like Iron Man made a lot of
Oh, yeah.
AC/DC music very
Yeah.
heavy.
We do have an
now.
Ozzy tribute
So
as well.
there you go. And I see, I'm looking again here, you got this nice little handout. And all this stuff, of course, is available on your website, legacydinnertheater.com. But it does mark exactly which ones. Like the High Women show coming up looks like there's a lunch and a dinner show. Same thing, like you said, ABBA, Chicago, Alabama, and several others in the later half of the year. Quite a few as we get into the end of the
We
year.
try to make it as simple as possible. So if that website is legacydinnertheater.com, and that's the hub that tells you everything. And we try to make sure everyone knows the date, time, what meal, what's available, and how far in advance you can order your tickets. It's fun.
And like we mentioned, so we're performing, sometimes multiple times a day, but then on our dark days, there's other shows. And us performers that are in the Bellows Circus Extreme, we actually enjoy looking forward to okay, what's on our off day? And it's such a fun experience that we'll actually come in on our days off to see the other shows because the dinner theater experience is so unique and it is so fun. What makes live entertainment better? Delicious food as well. And you really can sit around a table with your friends and family and create memories. I think they're a little bit more memorable because you are, they say a lot of your memories are made around the dinner table, but you're also experiencing world-class entertainment in the Wisconsin Dells,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think, from my knowledge growing up as when I was young, my parents always kind of had to decide, should we do a movie and then get something to eat, or let's eat something at home and then we'll go out and, do whatever, catch a show, whatever the case may be. And now as an adult, I'm like, so nice if we could just do it one-stop shop and be done. And that's exactly what you guys offer for a lot of this.
Right.
That's
Very
absolutely phenomenal.
the word immersive also because there's parts of the show that people get offered to come up on stage, so there's a lot of interaction. There is one part of the show that all kids come out to be on stage. They all win a prize. We keep that as a prize of what they win, but it's actually a very, very cool, tangible thing, But everyone gets to come on stage, and it's so fun to see. Before you even finish the sentence of, hey, kids, do you want to come? And there's an amount of kids who come. Then there's the reluctant comes, and then there's the ones that come, and they're like, I'm not sure. But then they're like, oh, I'm the only kid not on stage. And then they come out there. So
Right.
it really is fun how you can different times of breaking the ice where kids get to be on stage and see what that's like. Imagine getting your video of photos of your kids up on stage and then different parts of the show that you feel part of it. But then we also walk high wire over the entire theater. That doesn't happen anywhere else in the United States or in the world. So you're part of it. It's a lot of fun.
And I guess that you touched on something that was kind of interesting. So when these kids are going up there and being on, the parents can pull out their phone and take
Oh,
a
yeah,
video of it.
absolutely,
You guys
absolutely.
aren't, freaking out, you don't have your 6'10" bouncer
No,
going
no,
around
no.
confiscating phones.
Here's what's very funny. There's a lot of times, I'm going to touch on something. There's a lot of times where you're like, kids, put down the phone. But then what do you put in front of them that they want to put down the phone? We tell people you can take as many pictures, videos until the kids come up on stage, people are watching the show so intently. Kids are not on their phones. They are watching every moment. Now, we do video the show, and you offer that they can purchase it. We take photos throughout the show so people can get it because they're so busy watching intently and so immersed in it that they forget to, because just imagine you're telling a story or you're saying, hey, kids, when I was a kid, and then they're sitting there playing on their phone and going, what? That just doesn't happen.
Right.
And I think that's the gratitude that we get even though they don't really know that it happened at the time, parents and grandparents are happy, thankful that the 4 generations can sit there and they all were going, hey, granddad, hey, dad, hey, mom, wasn't that cool? There's interaction.
Right.
You know, one thing too we haven't mentioned is for those who have not been to the theater, we have some great special effects. So
Oh, man.
we have foggers, we have hazers, we have lasers, we have cold spark machines. And we actually have fire built into
Fire,
our
yes.
stage as well. So not only do we use it in your show,
Yeah.
but we also use it for some of our concerts as well.
That is really cool. So I mean,
State of the art. I mean, there's I don't know that there's anything else you could add to the theater to make that you would go, oh, you know, someone else. It's there.
It's probably the best place in the state to see a show. I mean, between the
Yeah.
house shows that we do and the concerts that we do, you just can't find this unless you're going to, an actual arena where they can have, things where there's no roof on it and they can do more than we can do there.
right. Well, I've seen, how high some of the things you do go. I was actually thinking back to your appearance on America's Got Talent and watching that wheel go up. And you're walking over the top of it, and I'm thinking, the lights are hanging lower than him.
Yes.
Like the lights for the stage.
I took some pictures yesterday
Yes.
during the first show, and we did a Facebook Live between shows yesterday, and I was talking about that. Your hair must be brushing the ceiling,
Yes.
because that's how high it is in there.
There's like a clean spot, just a path.
Yeah, yeah.
The hair
Yeah,
is
like
there.
we've jam-packed as much
We really
action
did.
as we can possibly fit in that theater, and that's why it's called Bellows Circus Extreme. That's why we added the extreme part, because we really have like every act is so full of action, and we take up like literally every inch of that theater to cram as much action as we possibly could into it.
About how long is the show?
So it's about 2 hours, including a 15-minute intermission, which gives you time to get up and stretch your feet. We have fresh cotton candy, popcorn, everything that you'd find at a circus, as well as all-you-can-eat pizza and lasagna. We have a full bar. There's interaction. There's so much to do. So people can actually come and spend up to, 4 hours there, and there's something to do the whole time you're there.
That's really awesome, because then you don't feel like you're being rushed to eat and finish because the show's
No,
moving.
it really is a whole experience. It's
And
not
everything-
just a show.
It all happens indoors. So if it's snowy, rainy, bright, or, because the weather, I don't know if you know this, but the weather can change quite
Yeah.
quickly here. But no matter what the weather is, you're comfortable inside there.
It's nice knowing that there's that time span, because I'm thinking if I'm watching this go on, and again, I've seen some of the videos, I've watched some of what you guys do, and it is absolutely jaw dropping. I'm not going to be thinking about chewing. I'm going to be thinking about staring and watching
Yeah.
and seeing what's going on. So not to say that the food isn't great. I'm looking at the list of stuff that's on here, and I'm seeing, Bellows homemade lasagna. Are you the one making it? Or are you
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
If you like it.
Pizza, which every kid loves pizza. That's a fan for everybody. Great dessert options on here. Gluten-free and vegetarian meals available.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all super cool. But then to get all that great food and a show, full experience, to really feel like it all kind of wraps together, just sounds amazing.
We
It's
have those
fun.
specialty drinks that we've added as well. We have 3 different specialty drinks that we use dry ice, so it actually
Smoke,
bubbles and
the fun
smokes and
of it.
things like that. And it's just, you can't find that anywhere, and that's what we're trying to do, is present something that is truly unique. It's worth the effort to get to the show. You're going to see something that you're not going to see anywhere else, but then just enhance the experience with everything else as well.
Ticketing. If people want information on ticketing, is it something where they need to be looking at booking in advance? Like how far in advance should people be looking out?
Yeah.
Don't look for past April 27th, because we're not going to be there.
Right.
But there's usually, very funny. There's a lot of walk-up. There's a lot of pre-sales. There's we're always, I don't want to say
depends on the
surprised.
day.
It really does. It does. Obviously, school, there's, it's just different, but
Yeah, the box office opens at 9 o'clock every day. So we always have someone manning the box office until the show is done. The evening show wraps up, by around 9 o'clock-ish, like that. So the box office is always open. The website is always on 24/7, LegacyDinnerTheater.com. And that, like you said, Bella, that's like our hub. So all of our show information for all of our shows.
And there's
is
different
available there as
pricing
well.
options for families if you want to be very close up front, VIP. Then there's, some people want to sit back and watch everything and not be in there. So there's those pricing options too. Our goal is to really make memories, make people smile, laugh, and forget about what's on the news, what's happening in life. Come and just enjoy and forget about everything. It really is a staycation of just come. Everyone's got to eat, so it might as well be all you can eat, and you might as well have to pick your jaw up every once in a while.
And that ties beautifully back into what you were saying at the very beginning, where, this is meant to be not only all-inclusive and all-immersive, but, it's really meant to be something that is an experience.
Yes.
And, you're not going to get that same experience taking the kids to the playroom at the local McDonald's.
Right.
And that's absolutely amazing. I want to ask you guys about your international stuff that you got coming up. I have some questions about that. Before I do, though, I've had this sitting here the whole time.
There you go.
I want to see it.
As a fellow redhead, or at least I used to be until
Me too.
I had 3 kids. Just kidding, I love my kids. So I got to make sure I got to get my hair on here. Hold on. We got this. I've got a big head, so we're gonna go with the largest size.
Yeah.
All right.
I love
I feel
it.
like now we compare a little bit better. You guys incorporate not just the Daredevil stuff and the circus stuff, but you also impart some comedy into what you guys do. And when it comes to that international travel, I think about how accessible the circus is in general, and then the comedy in general. But your comedy isn't necessarily a lot of vocal stuff. Like, it's a lot of physical comedy, and mixes a lot of that physical circus clowning around almost kind of into that. Do you see that has a certain effect when you're international? Does it break barriers?
It sure does. It sure does. I'm a mix of Charlie Chaplin and Evel Knievel, and if you would go, is it Jim Carrey and Kramer? It's like there's a physical, and then there's a. Not everyone can get their point across without speaking. Moms can, right? You're that, but that's what makes us so successful is the uniqueness of us together and separate. I can be in Japan, I can be in Germany, and people don't realize that I'm not from that country. I can communicate because most of it is show me, don't tell me. She has been referenced as people call her the Ginger Rogers of circus. Ginger Rogers only had to do what Fred Astaire did, only backwards and in high heels.
Right.
Where I do it fumbling, bumbling, but still do a wow. She does it with grace, and she's a female Daredevil that's usually a dominated male sport
It's rare enough as
industry,
it is,
very industry. But Guinness Book World Record holder, very probably 50 different international awards, and man, we're so blessed because we get to do what we love doing.
Right.
But you see that. You see it in people's eyes, their faces, in moms, dads, kids, whatever. You see that. So.
And then I think it's kind of a cool thing that we have that no matter where you go, some people can't even begin to relate to what it's like to be a daredevil or a comedian or a live entertainer. But I think the fact that we are a real life father and daughter, that brings a certain amount of relatability that anyone, can relate to. So that's kind of like something that I think makes it special and makes it more enjoyable for us and easier for us to kind of share in the memories with the audience members.
Annalise does a very spectacular thing in the show, but then she also is able to talk and share with the audience. And real simple, not giving away what she does, but I will tell you, people, I walk high wires, I do somersault in a wheel of death. You wonder, and you don't have to follow in my footsteps to do what I do. You don't have to walk a high wire, but you do gotta face your fears sometimes and take that first step and do what is your challenge. And sometimes in life it's just, are you competing with yourself, or what is the thing that may hold you back or hold you down?
That makes a lot of sense. And I appreciate your proud papa moment, bragging up a little bit.
Yeah. No,
that's always a wonderful thing to see. I got to ask, so world record holder, what's the record in?
So I was the first female to ever do a somersault on the Wheel of Death, which is what you may have seen me do on America's Got Talent. But I was the first person ever to accomplish doing 4 somersaults in under a minute. So the previous record was, I think was it 2? And so I really wanted to make a mark of something something tangible to prove, like, okay, I was the first female to ever do this, but I didn't want to just stop there, so I was like, okay, I'm going to try and break a man's record, because only a man had ever done that. So I did 4 somersaults in under a minute in the Wheel of Death.
Well, as a father of daughters, I appreciate you breaking through and really kind of taking some ownership of that one. That's awesome. I have to ask about, like, because I think about myself. You put me on a trampoline, I'm not going to do very well. Motorcycle riding, I can go in a straight line. I can turn. I can do the normal road stuff. I'm not doing anything crazy. If you were to put me on the swinging pendulum wheels, I would just swing back and forth and be very happy. How do you guys train for this? How much time and effort goes into doing what you guys do?
So on a practical sense, I kind of just started with gymnastics and dance and, just learning the basics of acrobatics. But then, as I progressed, I was very fortunate that I had a world-class, trainer that I lived with. That was my dad. But anything, you just break it down and you just start small. So like on a high wire, we start about a foot off the ground. And I think the secret is treating a high wire that's a foot off the ground or 100 feet off the ground with the same amount of respect. And so that's a big part of what we learn is we just learn diligence in whenever we are doing something, you give it the respect and the full attention that it deserves. And that's what's kept us safe. And that's what keeps us being able to push the limits more and more. You have anything to add to that?
Yeah. Taking the stairs to the top of the Eiffel Tower. The first step is just as important as the last step. You don't say, I'll pay attention when I get to the top or. So the same with us. And you don't have to do what I do. In fact, I don't have to do what other people do. I do what I enjoy do. You do what I do. I implemented what are my enjoyments, what comes natural, and then going, ooh, this is a little bit of a stretch. How about we do it a little bit this way? But people, they can see. So real simple. The thing that we're on is called a Wheel of Death, translated in every other language. Russian, Chinese, Japan, German, it's called a Wheel of Death.
Right.
We call it a Wheel of Wonder. Wondering if you're going to survive sounds so much more appealing.
Right.
But the truth is, no accidents, no broken bones, no accident, broken bones, and we don't invite people to come and watch us to go, if we'll make it. We're doing it with the greatest of ease. She walks blindfolded, walk backwards, do a somersault in there, jump. And it is fun to go, oh, wow, they truly are flying through the air with the greatest of ease.
Right.
It takes work. It takes work. It takes diligence. But that's what's fun is where people go, oh, wow, I can do that. And if not, where do you start? Start at the first step and get to it.
That is awesome. I mean, it almost seems superhuman, the stuff that you guys do.
Well, I'm not smart enough to do anything else, so I got it.
And the amount of focus that you guys put in shows that, much like any craft out there, if you're a world-renowned painter, you're focused on your art, and what you guys do is an art. I have to ask, though, is there anything in your family generational line that carries over, that is a show thing that maybe is still being done today?
Swipe holes, wheel.
Yeah, so his parents were actually from Europe, and they came over in the 50s to perform on Ringling Brothers on an act called the Sway Poles. And it's been really cool that tradition was passed down to him, and then it's been passed down to me, and so I actually do it in our show. And it's just been cool. It's a tradition. It's a family tradition, to free climb high into the air, with no safety net, no harness or anything. But like he kind of touched on earlier, my dad always says that the circus is ever changing and never changing. So even though it's a tradition that we pass down, we all kind of put our own spin on it.
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the cool things about circus and live entertainment is, like you said, that it kind of can seem superhuman. But, that's not true. We're just normal humans doing what some people might think is impossible. And I think that's kind of the magic of the circus is that it reminds you that you really can do anything you put your mind to, that nothing is impossible.
I can tell just from listening to you guys talk about this how much you love doing this. I mean, just smiles on your faces the entire time, which is awesome. Yeah. And looking at, going back and watching and rewatching videos of you guys' work, those smiles are there even while you're doing it. You're enjoying it while you're doing it, which is phenomenal. And it sounds like the feeling you guys have is a feeling that a lot of these other anchor shows have, where they really enjoy what they do. These tribute bands that you guys bring in really enjoy what they do. You know, a lot of this is a labor of love for a lot of these people. Obviously, a paycheck's always nice.
Yeah.
But, you know, do what you love. You never work a day in your life,
It's
right?
funny you just said something. We have won what is the equivalent of an Oscar and the equivalent of Academy Award and an Olympic gold medal in the circus industry. Golden Clown at Monte Carlo Circus Festival.
That's awesome.
One of those, the Oscars, is what kind of attendance, how many people did you reach, what were the numbers, and that's not really, that's one thing. And then another one is about time. How fast did I run? How far did I jump? How are you like, I'm going to beat the clock, or I'm going to be. To us, it's not about any of that. It's how many smiles did you create? How many memories did you create? How many people, how many family members could you bring together and have them have a memory that will last a lifetime? That is. No amount of money could take the place of that. No amount of money can. It's a magic that happens, and it's hard to make that tangible. But when you're the person on stage and you see that, because don't forget, they're seeing one person do, two people. We get to see their eyes, their faces. That's our bank account, and it's
Priceless.
yeah.
I couldn't sum it up better than you guys just did. That was absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, we are out of time.
Yeah.
So what I do have to ask is for you guys just to once again, what's your schedule at the Legacy Dinner Theater, so people know when to come see you and when the show ends, and then all your contact information so people know how to find you guys for booking shows or keeping up with the schedule.
You ready? Who's going to do it, Kurt?
Well, Bellows Circus Extreme Dinner Show runs through Sunday, April 27th. We do 2 shows a day on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. We open the doors at 1 for our 2:30 show. So 1 is when the lunch meal, all you can eat, starts for the 2:30 show. And then we open again at 5:30 for the meal for our 7 o'clock show. But all the tickets for all the shows, all 423, or what's left in the year here, you can grab those online at legacydinnertheater.com.
Matinees at Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Every other day is 7 p.m., but 5:30 is when the door opens for dinner. And then on Fridays is our day off. There's a tribute band.
Yep.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then, of course, bellowknock.com as well.
Yes, sir.
We'll mention that one as well. Thank you guys
Thanks.
so much
Thank
for coming
you.
on today.
Guys, thank
It's
you.
been great having you.
Thank you.
Thank
This
you
has
so
been
much.
a paid program. Advice and opinions expressed in the program are solely that of Legacy Dinner Theater, not necessarily WBEV or Good Karma Brands.